Hello, my lovelies. Yar! Thought you weren't going to get your yar, didn't you? Everyone gets a yar with blue. Anyway, what you can see here is, okay, this is the finished result. I thought I'd start with this. This is what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so as you can see, we've got this kind of white paint. There's been white paint on it. It's worn away. We've got the different rocks for the lintels, and we've got all our stones and stuff going on here. Okay, very, very simple. So, very simple. Did you hear what I said there? Now, first things first, if I nip across to my 3ds Max, the method I told you was an old method, okay, where to assign the materials. Just assign one material, but what I did instead was these parts here, oops, there we go, have a material ID of 1, and if I control I, these ones have a material ID of 2. That's all I did, okay? It's not even essential to do that, to be honest, with what we're doing, but it's what I did anyway. Now, if I come back across to Quixel Mixer, File, New Mix, okay, and I'm going to call this the Bothy Wall 1, okay, and working resolution, by the way, is 2000, okay, that's fine for me. This isn't a high detail asset. You can go as high as 4K if you really want, but I wouldn't bother, not at the minute. Maybe when you're making Gears of War 9 or something, but not yet. Okay, so you're like, well, that's weird. I've got a plank or a square or something. So go to Model Settings, Custom Mesh, hello, and here I have my B Wall Long Export Single Material. I called it, okay, because it's only got single material. If I try to load the other one, I get the big question mark of Doom, which is great. I like the question mark of Doom. Okay, I like the fact they made a model for it, but I want the one that's only got a single material on it. There we go. And now you can see we have our slightly wobbly, slightly wonky. Now you're going to find why that was such an important thing. So if I go to my local library, okay, and I'm going to change this to surface, and here I have flint wall 2 by 2 meters. That's a bit of a draft. Okay, so with flint wall 2 by 2 meters, I'm just going to click on it, and it'll apply to everything. Give it a minute. There. Now you're probably looking at that and going, well, that's wrong. What's happening here? I don't like that. That's okay, you don't have to, we're going to change it. So you see here, box projection. You've got these two handy dandy little circles here. I'm going to move this one right the way in, and suddenly the rotation's correct. And then I'm going to move this one, okay, and this will adjust the stretching if I need it to, or I'll move this scale out. Now, how far do I want this scale? Well, I want the scale where the top of these bricks are probably going to be at the bottom of this window if possible, but I kind of like where it is anyway. I mean, I can, you know, keep churning it about until it's about there if I wanted, but I think just find something that's kind of working for you. There we go. So we've got bottom layer flint, mid flint, top layer. I used to live in a flint house, by the way, and quite cold. Anyway, now that we've got that, what I next need to do is I need to apply a second layer. So, if I go to add surface layer and I add this black rock, you'll see it just applies it flipping everywhere, all willy-nilly like. Suits me, it can apply it that way if it wants. Now we've got 3 ways we can apply it, from above, from below, and opacity masked. Okay, I'm going to go opacity masked. Mask. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to add a paint mask. Cool. Now what I need to do first is basically get rid of all of this layer. So I'm just going to stick on my big brush like that, and I can do this, just clean it all off, turn it. You'll notice we get some in all our little crannies and nooks and bits and bobs. Okay, so let's do that. Now if you wanted it just on the inside like that, I wouldn't have to clean anything, but I don't. I'm just going to do that and make sure I clean up everything. Okay, there. Now I'm going to zoom in nice and close, and with my new friend brush eraser, so I'm just going to set this to brush hard and increase my sizing a little bit. You'll see that I can now paint my new rock directly on. It's like witchcraft. See, this is Teddy Bergsman, man. Teddy Bergsman and his hard-working crew have been doing witchcraft so that we can basically make cool textures without going insane. Now, if you have ever been a colourblind 3D artist, trying desperately to make your textures work, while at the same time trying to make your UV maps not be ruined, and switching between, you know, Photoshop and 3ds Max, and crying repeatedly. There's a lot of crying, by the way, which I point out. You will realise what a massive bonus this is. And if you don't, well, you're just entitled. You're entitled Generation Z. You have no idea the struggles, man. The struggle was real. Okay, so I'm just carefully coming in. And this is basically all I need to do. Now, don't worry that we're going to... Oh, there's a bit down there, you see. Don't worry about that. Okay, just as an example. We're going to tidy that up. Okay, just to show that we're not lazy. So first, just using our brushes, just go in, take your time. Okay, this one's fairly rough. We're not building like sci-fi goodness, so you don't have to worry really about all your edges being exactly classic on perfect, because they probably won't be. Yeah, I'm just making sure that all of our lintel is lintely. Right, what's lintely, Chris? Well, it means that, like, you know, it's the right texture. I make up words sometimes. I also talk to myself incessantly and imagine that you're paying attention. So let's all hope that happens. Right, so there. I used to use, years and years ago, there was a program by a company called, I think it was Left Hemisphere, called Deep Paint. And rumour had it that Deep Paint was actually going to be a feature of 3ds Max. And it kind of did this. It didn't do it as well. Okay, you had to have some really good unwraps. So if you didn't know how to do really good unwrapping, you know, you were boned. And 3ds Max did not have the automatic unwrap features that we all like mess our pants over today. And there was really, well, there was a blender, but there wasn't like loads of competition for 3ds Max back then, let's just say. And yeah, it was okay actually, and it was a great shame, I think, that 3ds Max couldn't get that working in what do you call it? In oh, you can turn off the flint wall, by the way, if you don't want to see it, so you can just see this. It was a great shame they never got it working in 3ds Max. Apparently it was an interface problem. Now, to be fair, the two applications were so fundamentally different that I'm kind of not surprised, really. Anyway, such is life. This, funnily enough, I think, as well, this would have been 3ds Max version 6. So, I mean, we're talking a long time ago. Many schmeckles ago. Okay, that looks cool. We've got our top and bottom lintel there. Now let's go over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rough draw this one in, and then I can get rid of my mask afterwards. Okay, so I'm doing it both ways. But most importantly, I'm doing it in real time, like Sir Bob Ross, who I'm sure you have gone off and watched every damn episode of The Joy of Painting by now. Don't tell me you haven't. I'll be very disappointed. I'll come to your house. I'll come to your house with my Netflix and force you to watch them all. Actually, Netflix doesn't have them all, but, you know. It's got the good ones. You'll see him with his pocket squirrel. Every artist should have a pocket squirrel, by the way. This isn't a creepy kind of weird thing that people did in the 70s. He just had a pocket squirrel. Anyway, enough of that. Right, so, as you can see, we've got this. Now I just need to basically clean up a little bit. So, there we go. Just get rid of the bits I don't need. Which, funnily enough, is easier doing it this way than it was the other. You'll notice we're doing it a lot faster. And I'm not too concerned, okay, like I said, about overlaps. Supposed. God dear me. Well done for not being able to talk like a human. It's supposed to be a little bit rough. Okay, so I'm not going to lose any sleep and cry myself to bed about, you know, a little bit of overlap just here. It's nothing bad. In fact, I'm sure that the stone cabin builders of the Orkneys would look upon this and nod into their giant pipes and then start drinking whiskey and complaining about Finnsmen stealing their loved ones. A little little bit of Bothy humour for you there. There we go. Right, let's come round, make sure there's no patches that we don't want, especially down this side of the wall here where there obviously is. And I think I may have got a little bit of here as well. Now, remember, I decided to show you this in real time, so if you're going, oh, it's a bit long-winded, isn't it? He's just showing me the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I am. Just fast forward. God damn millennials. Right. Oh, why are you being so sarcastic and mean? Because I can be. I'm not mean. You see, that's the benefit of not actually... Well, there's not many benefits, okay, to not being officially, you know, a trainer for one of the big companies. But one of them is that I can call you horrible names and it means you... Oh, don't forget to use Control Z if you think you've done a duty. There we go. Okay, that looks good, doesn't it? That looks great, in fact. God. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to make the albedo a teeny bit darker. Okay, so about there, and that makes our rock darker. So we get this nice kind of crack coming through it, which looks kind of nice. Now I'm going to turn on our background. Oh, that's nice, see? And then what I'm going to do, because I want the effect of painted walls, but I want the effect of painted walls that happened quite a long time ago and then got destroyed by weather, I'm going to apply a magic layer to it. Now they call these smart materials, and what they've got here is wood painted. Now I know it's not wood, but that doesn't matter, it'll still work the same way. If you just watch and wait patiently, it's loading our textures in the bottom corner. I'll not talk too much because it'll slow it down quite a bit. There we go. And now, as you can see, we have this rather fetching Bothy wall going on here, or cabin wall, or whatever you want to call it. Again, that's the whole bloody point. Okay, we have this, and it's looking okay. Now, pardon me. If you want to get on and do more interesting things with this, we can. Okay, so if we go to our local library, go online, and we should be able to look for some atlases. And here we have decals. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And you'll see that we've got all these things here, and we can, you know, if I look in MISC, I'm sure we'll find all sorts of weird things here. Okay, and you can apply all of these to the model in various ways and shapes and forms, a bit like stamps. Now there's a lot of them, okay, and a lot of them you're not going to need, but if you see anything that really kind of catches your fancy, like suddenly having a worn wooden door in the wallway, or some stripes, or this bit of Roman stone, which is quite nice, or this Roman mosaic word set, you can do all this, okay? But for me, at the minute, this is kind of ideal. I have my piece here, and it looks okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save. I'll save, and I'm going to save it under a project name, and I'm going to call the project Bothy1. And then in here, I'm going to call this the Bothy wall and click save. There, and that's it. Right, so in the next part, which is nearly the final part, I'm going to show you how I take this and put it into Unreal Engine. Till then, you take care, and know that Captain Blue loves you, and so does the rest of my crew. If you want to be a crew member too, come and join us. And also, don't forget, I've got a Patreon, and Captain Blue needs to eat and buy rum and funny hats. So, you know, join the Patreon and you'll get extra things, I promise. Anyway, see you later on. Big loves. Bye-bye.